How's it going, everybody? It's Daigen here, bringing you another Guilty Gear Strive tutorial. And before we begin, I gotta apologize about the difference in sound quality you may hear in the next couple of videos because my old mic apparently burned out. So I'm using my old USB mic to record these videos until my new XLR mic comes at the end of this week. So if you want to help your boy out, support your boy, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So talking about option selects, exactly what is the option select? An option select is basically going to be a sequence of inputs that allows you to cover multiple options at one time. And this is something that can help you in multiple different scenarios. We're going to be going over a couple today that are definitely going to help you out. We're going to be going over throw, purple PRC OS. We're going to be going over faultless defense, throw tech OS. We're going to be going over counter hit, Hitstop special cancel OS. And we're going to be going over an OS that allows you to deal with left-right scenarios. We're going to be going over two variations of that. So if you want to learn how to basically step up your defense and how to make your hit confirms better, then stick around to the end of this video. So the first OS we're going over is the throw purple Roman cancel OS. So this essentially is something that's going to take 50 meter to actually utilize, but it's a very strong tool. So if you don't know within this game, when you actually do throws, you actually can't RC until a certain duration in the throw. As you can see, I can't do it right away. If I press it right away, if you see I'm mashing the buttons, it don't happen until a little while later. So what that essentially allows you to do is you can press the buttons early, and if a person happens to get away from your throw, you can just do this. And this will essentially allow you to basically chase them in the direction they're going. So if they happen to backdash and you see they're backdashing, you could potentially punish the backdash, or if you see they jumped in the air, you can potentially jump and try to throw them or jump and pursue them how you feel. So showcasing how the option select actually works, I'm gonna showcase it right here. So I have Soul right here on a recording, and he is going to do the OS, and I'm going to try to get away. So this is it normally. This is what happens if I just get hit. As you can see, look at his inputs. He input the 3 buttons to actually do the RC, but he can't get the RC during this actual animation. But if I happen to get away, as you can see, the purple RC comes out, and then he can jump up and throw me because he realized the situation. So this is a very strong tool to actually utilize, and it can be done even for command throw. So as you can see, I pressed it right there, and if I happen to do the recording, he can do the same thing, and the same scenario once again. If he sees where you're going, he can pursue in that direction. So this is a very strong tool to utilize for when you're trying to use a poke and throw game. Now the next option select we're actually going to go over is going to be the faultless defense throw option select, but it also can be a burst throw option select because essentially you can do it when you have your burst too. The other one happens when you actually don't have your burst. That's when it becomes the faultless defense option select, throw option select. So let's talk about what happens when you have burst. So essentially what this actually covers is it allows you to try to tech throws, and if you happen to miss it, then you get your burst instead. So it could be a weird scenario. You probably don't want to use this one as too much, as if your burst get baited, then this is something that can be very problematic. So typically when you don't have your burst, you really want to use it more, but it can help you in the scenarios if you want to, like, you know, use your burst in a scary situation as well. So essentially what this is what you do is you press any 2 buttons that give you your barrier and the dust button at the same time. So pick any 2 you want, as long as it's 2 buttons plus the dust button. This will give you burst. Now yes, you will get burst if this happens, and you, of course, you want to hold a direction for throw. But what will happen is if they decide to throw you during this, rather than getting burst, I will actually get throw. I will get throw tech, as like that. Once again, if I do it too early, then I won't get it. It's when you are actually getting thrown. So when you are actually getting thrown, you can actually tech the throw. It will prioritize the throw tech over you actually bursting. And this is what will happen. Now, let's talk about what happens when you don't have burst. Okay, so now that you see now that I don't have burst, essentially it's going to be the same thing, except for this time you want to definitely hold back and the dust button. So any 2 buttons you want, along with the dust button, and this will give you faultless defense, and you won't get a throw animation. But if they happen to throw you when you're doing this, you'll actually tech the throw. So to show what that looks like, once again, I will get barrier, but if they actually happen to throw me, I will tech it like this. Now to show what it looks like as far as what it's covering, it covers people trying to do tick throws. So if you know your opponent is doing pressure and you're scared to throw, this will allow you to try to attempt to tech their throw without having to go into a whiff covery animation of you actually missing a throw attempt and they actually didn't go for throw, or they go for a button and you go for a throw and then you get counter hit. It protects you a little bit, but it still makes it to where you actually have to try to take the throw. It just covers you a bit rather than taking like a huge risk. So let's look at what it actually looks like. As such, so you see he was pressuring me. I didn't know when the throw was coming. If I would have tried to press the throw during the second far slash, I would have got counter hit, but instead doing the option select, I covered myself, and in the third he ran in and tried to go for the actual throw, and I was able to tech it. So it definitely covers you versus characters that got very good throw games, but once again, it can be beat with people that understand that you're doing this and they realize that you're not protecting your legs. When you do this, you are vulnerable for as far as your legs go, because you have to stand up in order to detect throws. So keep that in mind. It does have a weakness. Now, one thing to note is you can actually utilize this same technique in the air, which can actually help you out when you're trying to defend versus the other option select that we were talking about, which is the purple throw option select. So if I do the same input in the air, it will actually protect me if they try to jump up and throw me, or if they try to press a button. So it helps me versus that type of situation, whether if they're going to try to throw me or press a button to try to stop my escape. So once again, let's show this scenario real quick. Once again, I press this and it allowed me to take the throw. So I'm just doing this barrier in the air and I'm taking the throw. So once again, as such, so it can help you with that, and the other version of it would be something like this. So I'm getting barrier and I'm basically able to beat the odds versus those two scary situations. Is he going to press a button, or is he going to try to go up there and throw me? With this option select, you can cover both of those options and basically save yourself from a scary situation. So there's an option select to beat the option selects, but there's always something to beat something. So remember, an option select is something that can help you as far as covering multiple situations, but it's not foolproof and it's not always going to guarantee that you're going to get a reward. And there's always other ways to beat it via another option select that the opponent is doing, or just something else that the opponent is doing that's just throwing off your option select. So don't think always do option selects. Know when to use them and use them properly. Now to talk about counter hit, Hitstop, special cancel OS. Now, I don't know too much about what Hitstop actually is itself. I just know how the OS actually works in this game, and I would have to show it with my main character, Amelia, to actually show that it works, because she's the one character that I play the most and know how exactly do it with her. But let's talk about exactly what this actually does. So essentially what happens on counter hits, there's 3 different counter hits in this game. There's light counter hits, there's the medium counter hits, which you hear the announcer and the screen shakes a little bit, and then there is the MLG no scope 420 counter hits, which are going to be your heavy counter hits, where you get the big counter and stuff, you know, the air horns and stuff. Anyway, during the medium and the heavy, when you actually input a special move, you can actually input a second special move and it will over prioritize the first one if it's done quickly enough. So essentially what I do with Amelia is, if someone jumps at me like this, I always implement the dash, because if they happen to block and I come in like this and I do this, this is a good situation for Amelia. So I like this situation. It allows her to be plus. They really can't do too much about this situation. It's very good for her. But if I happen to hit an opponent, then I want to do this. But I don't want to do this on block. So there is a way for me to always confirm this with this option select. And it's essentially doing the anti-air and then pressing this and then this really fast in sequence. So like I just do like basically this. As you see my inputs, I'm doing both special moves really fast in succession. I'm doing the safe one first and I'm doing the unsafe one right after that for the confirm. And basically, if I hit them, this is what happens. As you can see, I did both. If I just do one, the dash will come out. It doesn't like negate it right off the bat. You have to input the other one. But if I do it really fast, that will come out. And that's a very good situation for Amelia, because now I can come up and go for safe jumps or left rights or whatever, you know, she can start a game plan. So it's a very good way to confirm things, and it's not something I can just do from that. I can do it from normals too. So if I'm comfortable with doing button dash and neutral, but I feel like I may get a counter hit, same thing. So it allows you to confirm the situation way better. And you could do this or test this with your characters, see what's the best case scenario say. So just think about it like, okay, if I want to special cancel, what special am I okay with going into on block? And what special cancel has my reward, but I'm not okay with going on and block? And just implement the safe one first and implement the unsafe one at the last sequence. And that will allow you to actually utilize this option select. It's very good for hit confirming certain situations. Now, the last option select I want to talk about is left right. And like I said, there's two variations. One when they're doing it in the air, and one when a character has a left right on the ground. So we're going to use Leo for the ground, and we're actually going to use Chip for the air version. So this is going to be, once again, option select that is going to be basically almost using like the other one, where you press two buttons and you press the dust button, but this time you actually hold it. So you hold the barrier this time rather than tapping the barrier and pressing the dust button. And because we don't want to get bursts here, we don't want to use our burst, what you're essentially doing is if they cross up, the game will prioritize and give you a forward throw. So if I, hold this direction, but I press forward throw, it actually let go of barrier, obviously, and you just forward throw. So essentially when they cross up, it counts it as a forward throw. So essentially what happens is when you think they're about to cross up, you hold barrier, and then you just press forward throw when you actually think they crossed you up. You can mash it, but the mashing does have a precaution, that is, it can lose if you don't time it right. So timing it is better. I'll show you the two scenarios right now. So this is if you mash it right there. As you can see, I'm mashing it, and it isn't as consistent. I get it sometimes. You will get it sometimes, but there is a time where you'll just miss it. So once again, this is something you want to utilize once you think the cross up is coming, and it will protect you, because if he happens to do this and he doesn't cross up, then you're safe, because you're not going to get a throw animation. So it does take a decent amount of barrier from you, but if you are in a tight situation and you want to make sure that you throw this scenario, and they're going to probably try to run, and you're like really scared, and this is an option that you can use if you are willing to, do it at the cost of your meter. So it's very good for that type of situation. Now let's talk about the air version. All right, so I know I said I was going to do the air OS on Chip, but I feel like it would be a little bit easier on Milia. So let's do it on Milia instead. I feel like she also does a lot of left rights and stuff when it comes to her block strings, and of course the things she do. So it will definitely work on her as well. So the input for this one is going to be whatever button you want to press with your punch minus the dust button, because we are trying to get a anti-air if they cross up and barrier if they don't. So if they don't cross up, we'll just get this, but they happen to cross up, we'll get this, because once again it considers as if you turned around, and it'll just let go of your barrier and press the other button. So for a scenario like that, I'm just going to have Milia do 5k into IAD, and one's going to be on the same side and one's going to be on the opposite side. Once again, that same side, and I am using kick and punch, so I'm pressing this. If she crosses me up, I will actually get 6p, and this is what that will look like. Just like that. And once again, because you may be getting counter hits, you can actually just use that with the other option select that we talked about before, because once again, it's going to be a medium style counter hit, so you can use the other option selects with that. So putting all the option selects together, you can become, really strong in your defensive awareness and the way you actually do your hit confirms and stuff. It can really change the way you play the game and take you to the next level when you implement all these together. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you guys found these option selects useful. Like I said, don't always go to these option selects. They can be beaten. These are options you want to utilize in certain situations. Once again, the example I was just using for Milia here, she can obviously do 5k, 2k, and catch you from trying to do this option select. So there always are ways to beat each one, so use it sparingly, but use it in the right situation. If you think your opponent is going to do this thing, then this option select will help you cover multiple options in that sequence. So just remember that. Anyway, if you like anything I had to say today, drop me a like. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to hear more from me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.